Well, welcome to Tuesday Morning Devotions. Thank you again for joining with us. This week we're thinking about friendship. I think one of the most amazing friendships that we find, particularly in the Old Testament, is the one between David and Jonathan. It was truly a friendship that defied all the odds. Everything was stacked against the possibility of David and Jonathan ever being friends. For the sake of context, just a little reminder that David, the shepherd boy, and this very talented musician had been employed by Jonathan's father, who of course was King Saul, as a court musician. And the task that he had was to provide calming music whenever King Saul suffered a moment of manic behavior or a period of darkness and depression, which often, of course, became incredibly violent. What is clear, though, is that over a period of time, King Saul begins to see David as a real threat. And on one occasion, we know that he attempted to kill him. Jonathan, who of course was the son of King Saul, was caught up between his relationship with his father and his friend David. Just to add a little layer of complexity to all of that, Saul had also given his daughter, Micah, to David to be his wife. It was a way of keeping tabs on him and trying ultimately to ensnare him in a trap. So it was a very complicated and volatile situation. But somehow, in the midst of all of that, the love and loyalty between two friends stayed the course of their lives. Let's enter into the story this morning by reading 1 Samuel chapter 20 and verses 1 to 17. Then David fled from Naioth at Ramah and went to Jonathan and asked, "What have I done? What is my crime? How have I wronged your father that he's trying to take my life?" "Never," Jonathan replied. "You are not going to die. Look, my father doesn't do anything great or small without confiding in me. Why should he hide this from me? It is not so." But David took an oath and said, "Your father knows very well that I have found favor in your eyes, and he has said to himself, 'Jonathan must not know this or he will be grieved.' Yet as surely as the Lord lives and as you live, there is only a step between me and death." Jonathan said to David, "Whatever you want me to do, I'll do for you." So David said, "Look, tomorrow is a new moon festival, and I'm supposed to dine with the king. But let me go and hide in the field until the evening of the day after tomorrow. If your father misses me at all, tell him, 'David earnestly asked my permission to hurry to Bethlehem, his hometown, because an annual sacrifice is being made there for his whole clan.' If he says, 'Very well, then your servant is safe.' But if he loses his temper, you can be sure that he's determined to harm me. As for you, show kindness to your servant, for you have brought him into a covenant with you before the Lord. If I am guilty, then kill me yourself. Why hand me over to your father?" "Never," Jonathan said. "If I had the least inkling that my father was determined to harm you, wouldn't I tell you?" David asked, "Who will tell me if your father answers you harshly?" "Come," Jonathan said, "let's go out into the field." So they went there together. Then Jonathan said to David, "By the Lord, the God of Israel, I will surely sound out my father by this time the day after tomorrow. If he is favorably disposed towards you, will I not send you word and let you know? But if my father is inclined to harm you, may the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if I do not let you know and send you away safely. May the Lord be with you as he has been with my father. But show me unfailing kindness like that of the Lord, as long as I live, so that I may not be killed. And do not ever cut off your kindness for my family, not even when the Lord has cut off every one of David's enemies from the face of the earth. So Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, May the Lord call David's enemies to account. And Jonathan made David reaffirm his oath out of love for him, because he loved him as he loved himself. What a difficult situation Jonathan found himself in. It was very clear that his father Saul was losing grip on reality, as well as his grip on the throne. I guess Jonathan so easily could have thought, I'm next in line, and like his father, perceived that David was a real threat to him. But instead of that, he sought to defend David and to protect him from his father's wrath. His love and loyalty to David and his wisdom to see that God's hand was upon David's life allowed him to express costly friendship. Later on, as the story unfolds, we're told that David received the tragic news that Jonathan had died alongside his father Saul on Mount Gilboa. In response, David wrote a lament that we find at the beginning of 2 Samuel. These were his words. How have the mighty fallen in battle? Jonathan lies slain on the heights. I grieve for you, Jonathan, my brother. You were very dear to me. Your love for me was wonderful, more wonderful than that of a woman. How the mighty have fallen. The weapons of war have perished. These, of course, are deeply moving and intimate words that remind us that at times friendship can be very costly, but so very fulfilling, and of course, absolutely necessary. Whilst we hopefully have a rich reservoir of friends, I think it's true to say that God also brings special friends into our lives. Perhaps friends who have stuck with us through thick and thin. We might describe them as our best friends, or friends that we would describe as lifelong friends. You just know that it works. There's a spark of light that's ignited whenever you're together with them. There's a deep sense of love and loyalty that has been tested out over the years. And maybe, at times, even costly. But of course, every bit worth the cost. Maybe this morning provides the opportunity to say thank you to God for those particular friends who are so very special and so very precious for us. Lord, thank you for all the friends I share my life with. And thank you too for those who have been lifelong friends, who have stood with me no matter what. Help me to express my appreciation for their love and loyalty, and continue to enrich my life with the lovely gift of true friendship. Amen.
I sing